Before this story begins, take just 1 second. If you believe that some connections are written by fate, if you believe that love can come from the most unexpected places, and if you've ever felt lonely, lost, or like something was missing in your life, subscribe to the channel now, because stories like this don't just entertain. They stay with you. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end. I never believed a single moment could change everything. I used to laugh at the idea of fate. People always talk about meant-to-be moments, as if life is quietly arranging pieces behind the scenes. To me, life was random, messy, unfair. You survive. You cope. You move forward. That's it. Or at least, that's what I thought. Until the night a dog walked into my life and rewrote everything I thought I knew about loyalty, protection, and what it truly means to feel alive. This isn't just a story about a dog. It's a story about the kind of bond that doesn't need words. A bond so deep it leaves an imprint on your soul. A bond that still follows you, even after goodbye. And it all started on a cold, quiet night I almost didn't go out. That evening, the city felt heavier than usual. The sky was low and dark, thick with rain clouds that hadn't yet decided whether to fall. The streets were almost empty, the kind of empty that makes every sound echo louder than it should. My footsteps hit the pavement in slow rhythm, each one carrying the weight of exhaustion. I wasn't going anywhere specific. I didn't have plans. I didn't even have purpose. I was just walking because standing still felt worse. Life had been pressing down on me from every direction. Work stress, loneliness, that quiet, painful feeling that something was missing, even though I couldn't name what it was. I felt invisible, replaceable, like I was moving through days instead of living them. So I walked, past clothes shops, past flickering streetlights, past reflections of myself in dark windows that barely felt like me anymore. That's when I noticed the park. The park was almost completely empty, wrapped in shadows and silence. An old oak tree stood near the center, its branches stretching like tired arms into the night. A single street lamp nearby flickered weakly, casting long, distorted shadows across the ground. And beneath that tree, something stood perfectly still. At first, I thought it was just another shadow. Then maybe a statue. Then I realized it was alive. My steps slowed. My heart did something strange. Not fear, not excitement, but awareness. As I moved closer, the shape became clearer. A dog. No, not just a dog. A Doberman. He was tall, sleek, powerful. His black coat caught the faint light of the street lamp, muscles shifting subtly beneath his skin as he breathed. Every line of his body looked purposeful, like he was built for something more than wandering the streets. But what stopped me completely, what rooted me to the ground, wasn't his size or strength. It was his eyes. Dark, deep. Eyes that didn't just look at me. They studied me. I had heard all the stories. People always talk about Dobermans as aggressive, dangerous, unpredictable. Every instinct told me to keep my distance. Yet he didn't bark, didn't growl, didn't move. He just watched, as if he was trying to understand who I was, as if he already knew. For a long moment, it felt like the city disappeared. No traffic, no wind, no sound. Just me and this silent, watchful presence beneath the oak tree. The space between us felt thin, like an invisible thread connecting two strangers who weren't really strangers at all. Then slowly, deliberately, he took one step forward. My pulse hammered in my ears. Every question hit at once. Should I run? Should I stay? Is this dangerous? But beneath the noise of fear, there was something else. A calm certainty rising from deep inside my chest. This wasn't a threat. This wasn't fear. This was something different. I lifted my hand, palm open, fingers relaxed. A universal gesture of trust, one I didn't even realize I was making until it happened. The Doberman paused. Then he stepped closer. I felt my breath catch as his nose touched my skin. Just a gentle press. Warm breath. A moment of stillness. Then, his tail wagged. Slowly, carefully. I let out a shaky breath I hadn't realized I was holding. My fingers brushed the top of his head, half expecting him to pull away. He didn't. Instead, he leaned into my touch. Just slightly, just enough to say yes. That tiny movement said more than words ever could. There was no collar around his neck. No leash dragging behind him. No sign that anyone was looking for him. He was alone. Just like me. I lowered myself to my knees so we were eye level. Up close, his eyes were even more intense. Not wild, not fearful, but intelligent. Aware. "Hey, buddy," I whispered. "Where'd you come from?" Of course, he didn't answer. But somehow, I already knew. This wasn't coincidence. This wasn't chance. Something about this moment felt inevitable. Like life had been quietly guiding both of us to this exact place at the exact time. I stayed there longer than I meant to, sitting beneath that tree, listening to the night breathe. Eventually, I stood up and forced myself to leave. But as I walked away, something inside me felt wrong. Incomplete. Like I had left a piece of myself behind in that park. Sleep didn't come easily that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him. The way he looked at me. The way he trusted me without knowing a single thing about who I was. I kept asking myself questions I couldn't answer. Who was he? Was he safe? Would he still be there tomorrow? And the strangest thought of all, why did it feel like I had known him forever? The next evening, without really deciding to, I found myself walking the same path again. My heart beat faster as I approached the park. I told myself I was just curious. But deep down I knew better. I was hoping. As soon as I stepped inside the park, my eyes searched the shadows. And there he was. Same place. Same posture. As if he had never moved. As if he had been waiting. The moment he saw me, his tail started to wag. Slow at first, then faster. My chest tightened. He remembered me. I crouched down, barely able to stop the smile spreading across my face. "Hey," I murmured. He walked straight up to me and pressed his head against my knee. Something inside me cracked open. I hadn't realized how badly I needed this. This silent recognition, this acceptance without conditions. We sat together for a long time that evening. No expectations. No demands. Just two souls sharing space. And for the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt okay. From that evening on, the park stopped being just a place I passed through. It became ours. Every day, without planning it, without scheduling it, my feet carried me there as if they already knew the way. The same path. The same cracked sidewalk. The same fading streetlights. And every time, my heart would beat a little faster as I approached the old oak tree. Because every time, he was there. Waiting. Not pacing. Not anxious. Just sitting calmly in his spot. Like he trusted that I would come back. And every time I did, his tail would wag, slow, controlled at first, then faster as I got closer. Not frantic. Not desperate. Just happy. That alone told me everything I needed to know. We never rushed anything. There was no sudden leash, no forced commands, no attempts to own or control. We simply existed beside each other. Some evenings we sat in silence. Other nights I talked. I talked about work. About how tired I was. About how empty my apartment felt when I got home. I told him things I had never said out loud to another human being. Things I didn't even realize I was carrying. And he listened. Not in the way people pretend to listen while waiting for their turn to speak. He really listened. His ears would twitch when my voice changed. His eyes would stay locked on mine, as if he understood every word. Not the language, but the feeling behind it. Sometimes, when my voice dropped too low, he would lean closer, resting his head against my leg. No judgment. No advice. Just presence. That presence changed something in me. Life had felt like noise before him. Constant pressure. Constant expectations. Always needing to be something for someone. But there, under the oak tree, none of that mattered. I wasn't trying to impress anyone. I wasn't pretending to be okay. I was just real. And somehow that was enough. Days turned into weeks. The seasons shifted quietly around us. The air grew cooler at night. The leaves changed color, then fell. The park transformed, but he never moved from that spot. And neither did I. One evening, the wind picked up, rattling the branches above us. The park felt lonelier than usual, the kind of loneliness that creeps into your chest when the world goes quiet. I looked down at him, his posture calm, his gaze steady. "Do you have a home?" I asked softly. He didn't react. Didn't tilt his head. Didn't look away. He just kept watching me with that same deep, knowing look. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Me neither." The words surprised me as they left my mouth. I had a place to sleep. Walls. A roof. A bed. But standing there, with my hand in his fur, I realized something painful and true. A house isn't the same thing as a home. A home is warmth, safety, belonging. And I had been missing that for a long time. I ran my fingers through his coat, feeling the steady rise and fall of his chest. He leaned into my touch without hesitation, like it was the most natural thing in the world. In that moment, a realization settled into my bones. I wasn't just helping him survive. He was helping me. He gave my evenings meaning, gave my loneliness a place to rest, gave my heart something steady to hold on to. This wasn't just companionship. This felt intentional, like life had looked at both of us, two lost souls walking separate paths, and decided to intersect them for a reason. One night, I arrived later than usual. Work had drained me dry. My mind buzzed with deadlines, expectations, unfinished thoughts. Every step toward the park felt heavier. As I walked, the streets felt different. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your skin prickle. I told myself I was imagining things. Just exhaustion. Just stress. But when I entered the park, something was wrong. I saw him immediately, but he wasn't relaxed. His body was stiff. His ears were alert. His gaze wasn't on me. It was fixed behind me. A chill ran down my spine. Slowly I turned. Under a broken streetlight stood a man, half hidden in shadow, hood pulled low, hands buried deep in his pockets. He wasn't walking, wasn't speaking, just watching. Every instinct screamed danger. Before I could move, before I could even think, a low sound vibrated through the air. A growl. Not loud, not wild, controlled, warned. The Doberman stepped forward, placing himself between me and the stranger. His body transformed. Muscles tightened. Teeth visible. Stance wide and grounded. Not chaotic. Protective. The man hesitated. One step forward from the dog, and a sharp bark sliced through the silence like a blade. The stranger froze. Then, without a word, he turned and disappeared into the darkness. My legs gave out. I dropped to my knees, hands shaking, breath coming in short gasps. The realization hit me all at once. That man hadn't just been passing by. And if the Doberman hadn't been there. I wrapped my arms around him, pressing my face into his fur. My chest ached with something raw and overwhelming. "Thank you," I whispered. He relaxed instantly, his body leaning into mine, his tail giving a small, calm wag. As if to say, "Always." That was the night I knew. This wasn't just a dog I visited in the park. This wasn't temporary. He had chosen me. And without even realizing it, I had chosen him too.